at the very end of the course with almost investment-grade digital marketing plans. It was so exciting. So I'm really excited to go on this journey again with you guys and really teach you a lot about what I've been doing over the last several years, and should give you guys the skills to be really not just competent digital marketers, but really confident and bring this back into whatever your business is, or whether you're just trying to develop your skill set. So a little bit about me, and then we'll introduce Jonathan, and then we'll talk about what our course is going to be like. So my name is Jordan. I've got about 8 years of digital marketing experience, about 10 years of business sales marketing experience. I'm right now a digital marketing consultant, freelancing for agencies, startups, and firms. I do work with a lot of startups. I'm kind of in this type of Silicon Beach style community, so that's pretty fun. I've worked in a number of different industries, both in corporate roles and as a freelancer and consultant, including education, music, publishing, sports, entertainment, technology, finance, a bunch of other stuff. So one of the nice things about being as a consultant is that I get to dip my foot in a lot of different industries. But one thing that I like to say is that the rules of marketing and the tools and technology we can use in digital marketing, none of that changes. But what does change is our market, our audience, our product offerings, and the competitive environment that we're operating in. And each one of you will have your own unique scenario that you're going to be analyzing and providing a strategy for through this course. So that's very exciting. Beyond this, I teach other courses and workshops in analytics, AdWords, SEO, and email marketing, and general digital marketing topics. I'm starting a digital analytics course at UCLA Extension as well, coming up soon. I'm finishing up my MBA at UCLA Anderson. I'm getting into my third year. I'm very excited to be done with that soon, because that's quite a engagement. If any of you guys have done grad school before while you're working, it's a pain in the butt. And beyond that, I'm into riding a motorcycle. I play music. I'm a musician, singer, guitar, drums. I play poker in the pool. I'm a big Seahawks fan for any of the football fans in here. And I guess my guilty pleasure is I'm a big video game nerd. So that's mine. So we already heard about you guys. So actually, let's actually let Jonathan introduce himself.
Cool, my name is Jonathan. I've been in digital marketing for about 1.5 years. I actually took the course over 1.5 years ago, and then went into doing freelance work in digital marketing across all industries, from biotech to tech startups, fashion, I mean, you name it. Before that, I was doing aviation logistics in Houston, Texas for about 5 years. That's where I'm originally from. So I'm very strategy heavy. And my guilty pleasure is Orange is the New Black and pineapple. I'll put pineapple on anything. Cool.
Okay, my goals for you guys for this course. Regardless of what your level of marketing experience is, I want every single one of the people in this room to think like a marketer, from audience to creating campaigns, to communicating, to strategy, right? What we're going to find is that the modern marketer, or the digital marketer, is a mixture of the creative, the analytical, being able to analyze data, and also a strategist, right? A lot of times we see the modern definition of a digital marketer as someone who's analytical and also creative, but I like to put in strategists in there because our final product is really about the go-to marketing strategy in a digital environment. I want you to be able to plan for marketing using effective business strategy and branding before we think about anything related to digital. The first 2 days of this course, this week, we barely even talk about digital because we needed to make sure that we cover specific themes that are relevant to marketing and bring us all up to the same place as far as what we're going to need for skills for this course. Understand how the vast sea of marketing data and analytics will impact our marketing decisions based on what's actually happening with our technology, on our website, across our social platform, our advertising, our SEO, all of that stuff, and to be able to analyze that data in a meaningful way to make smart business and marketing decisions going forward. And learn how to design, execute, and measure your own actual marketing campaigns across the various platforms that digital marketers use every day. We can't cover every single piece of marketing technology out there because this would be a 500-hour course or probably more, but we're going to cover some of the most important ones, the most foundational ones, from which you can go and explore other platforms that are right for your business. Absolutely. And we'll actually dig in and look at some of these platforms and talk about how you actually build the campaigns and the decision making along with that. So for instance, when we get to the search advertising module will actually be going into Google AdWords and talking about not just how search advertising works and how to be strategic with it, but also how to build campaigns and why we make decisions so that we come out with a successful campaign. And then at the end, or by the end, every one of you will have created a project that will basically be your roadmap for a future digital marketing entire plan, basically. So whether it's for your business or you're launching a company, you just launched a company, or whether it's for a larger company you work for, you're going to be choosing some kind of major objective, whether it's a specific campaign or a promotion or launching your business, and you're going to be going through all of the major steps from the planning and analytics phase to what campaigns you're going to run, what marketing channels you're going to use, why, how you're going to measure it, what some of your tangible goals are going to be, and you'll have all of the skills at the end to be able to do that, so you can just run with your campaign. You got your budget, you got your resources, you can start it immediately and be successful. That said, let's talk a little bit about your final project. We'll have some samples are actually posted on Schoology, and we'll go through Schoology in a moment. But the final project is really meant to be a culmination of the skills and strategies that you're learning in this course. You will not put everything that you learn in this course into your final project, because your specific business or project that you're going to bring in as a sample or what you're going to be working for is going to have different needs. There's going to be some common elements, specifically in the beginning where you're doing sort of the analysis, the value proposition, the audience analysis. You're going to be setting the stage, but then you're going to be choosing some different marketing functions and channels that will be the most effective for you to accomplish your objectives. You're going to have to use some data points and look at what data points are going to be the most important to determine if you're successful or not in resourcing, budgeting, etc. And so it requires you to really think through both creatively, analytically, and strategically how you would go to accomplish that marketing objective. And as I mentioned before, the homework that we do, the optional homework, as I'm going to call it, really is important, because by doing those, you're actually building your project, if you will, as you go along. So it's a really good thing to just spend a little bit of time and just kind of keep up with it, because a lot of people underestimate how long it takes them to do a really good project. We kept communicating with people, we did office hours, and we came out with, I would say, about 90% of the presentations last quarter. I brought in a marketing consultant, and she said, I didn't know who didn't already have digital marketing experience before these people came in. You could have shown that to investors and they would have been convinced that these plans would work. I'm absolutely convinced that a couple of companies that came in that were just starting their company, those people will probably be rich in a couple of years if they continue along the progress that they're doing. So take this final project seriously, because this can really have a tangible impact for you. It really is you getting to practice what you're learning, which so often we don't get to do in courses. As I mentioned, I'm in grad school, and a lot of what I'm learning is stuff that I'm going to be using over maybe the next 5 to 10 years. Our focus at General Assembly, and I've taught courses and workshops now, is to give you tangible skills that you can use tomorrow for your business and really have an impact immediately. That's the value. That's our value proposition here. Why you're maybe not going in and taking a course elsewhere, because we're giving you tangible skills to use today and tomorrow that really make an impact. So that's a little bit the final project. We'll talk more about that soon. There's already some samples up. There's a rubric up. We'll actually, when we get halfway through the course, we'll reconnect on your progress and get an outline of how your final project is going. We'll actually do a couple demos. We'll walk through a couple final projects and talk about the good and the bad and what makes a strong presentation towards the end. Now a little bit about how to be great in this class. Participation is key. When I got first introduced to teaching at General Assembly, I was introduced to this concept of adult learning theory. It's a little bit different than, let's say, if you're in grade school or whatever, just the teaching style is different. As adults, we're here to solve problems. We're here to gain tangible skills. We care more about the value that we're getting out of this, because as we heard from you guys, so many of you are working on projects that are really important to you, or you're expanding your skill set. You want to have skills that you can use to either get a new job, advance in your career, be more competitive in the marketplace, or simply take your business to the next level. Right? So it's important that you guys get the most out of this course. And one of the key ways that as adults that we get the most out of the course is by participating, by speaking up, by asking questions, by answering a question, by getting really actively involved in the activities that we do. Because just science tells us that we learn better, we're more engaged. You can sit through this course and be quiet if you choose. I'm not going to force you to speak, but I promise you, you'll get so much more out of this course if you speak up and you're actively engaged. Absolutely. It will be better for you, a better use of your money. I don't have a strict device policy. In fact, because we're doing a lot of stuff digitally, most of the time, a lot of you guys will want to be following along in creating an email marketing campaign or building a social media page or whatever. I would ask that you try not to answer emails and check Facebook and do all that stuff while you're here. Try and refrain from like texting your friends. I'm not going to call you out on it, but again, I'm going to say that you're going to get so much more out of this course if you're engaged and you're using your computers really just to either take notes, follow along in the program. It'll make a big difference for you to stay actively involved. Get to know your peers. Honestly, we started this little exercise here, and we're going to try and do a couple like optional happy hours after sessions on every other Thursday or something, but get to know each other because this is a room full of people who are about to leave this course in 10 weeks with some serious digital marketing skills. So you could hire each other, you could collaborate on projects. There's a lot of great connections that were made, but this is your network. I don't have a network of 20 people that do exactly what I do. So this is a really special room here for you to kind of get to know each other and learn about each other's businesses, help out, collaborate on something. So definitely do that. We already talked about work. Oh, and seek feedback. As you go through your project, don't wait until the last week to start getting help on your final project. Start asking questions now. As you start to figure out what you're going to need to put into your final project for this course, think about the elements that go into it. You're going to have lots of questions. I'm going to be available for office hours of sorts. Basically, I like to show up about an hour before class at around 6 o'clock. Just because it makes it convenient. People can stop by before the class, get a little bit of extra help. I would ask that you email me ahead of time and say, hey, I would like to come in on Thursday. Can you meet with me at 6 or 6:15 or whatnot? That way, if I'm running late, I know to show up extra early so I don't miss you guys. But I try my best to be here at an hour before on Tuesdays and Thursdays to be available. And either Jonathan or I will be here to help out. But if you're working on a project and you need a second opinion, and you've asked us, or you just want to ask a peer, definitely do that. Get a second opinion on what you're doing when you do an assignment that goes right into your final project. It's a great opportunity to see what other people think about it, right? Not just asking us, but also ask your classmates. Hey, what do you think about this idea? What do you think about this type of project? This ad creative that we're doing, this messaging, or is this data point exactly what we should be looking for? So get involved, seek feedback, contact us if you need help early and often. I absolutely did not have as many people as I could have had during office hours, and I wanted more people more often because there's so much we can learn about this topic that I can't cover in 60 hours. So take advantage of office hours and let me know. And in general, I'm really a big advocate of having an open, collaborative, and supportive working environment. I don't believe in dumb questions. I believe that by asking questions if you're unsure of something, either on a break, after class, before class, or if it's relevant to most of the group, ask me out loud, challenge something. I may ask you to defend an answer, and that's a good thing because it gets us thinking about the process and why certain marketing decisions make sense. Not everything in marketing is cut and dry, even the digital side. There's reasons why we might make different decisions, and we should explore that together as a group. So never be afraid to ask a question or ask someone to clarify why they came up with a certain answer, right? Because there's many situations where we use our tools and technologies differently to accomplish different objectives. Any questions so far about final project, homework, style of learning, anything that I've discussed?
What are your actual office hours?
Oh yeah, so since the course is Tuesday and Thursday every week, I'd like to show up about an hour beforehand. And again, it helps a lot if I know that you're going to show up for something specific. That way I can be here earlier so I don't miss you a few minutes. If you need something outside of that, I'm a consultant, so I have flexible hours during the day. So I'm always happy to do a Google Hangout or take a quick call if you can't make some people can't make like a 6 o'clock time because of work and family and all that stuff. So cool, good? All right, so for the next 2 hours, I want to bring us up to speed a little bit on business marketing and strategy. Oh, actually, before I jump into this, I want to run through Schoology. So how many people are not yet into their Schoology account? Okay, so just a few. So check your email for the invite. If you don't have it, please email us afterwards and we'll make sure that you get connected. Hi, welcome. We'll make sure that you get connected. But let's take a moment and actually look at Schoology. My view may be a little bit different than yours, but basically, we go to our course here, and right off the bat, we're going to see the different folders. I've laid out these folders. Most of the slides in them are either hidden or are still being edited. I like to go back and edit my slides from the previous session, so I'm only listing one. When you show up, you'll see that the slide deck is available. If I have a lot of links in it, sometimes I'll make it a PowerPoint file, so just to be aware, you might want to have a PowerPoint reader downloaded. And you can just kind of click on it and you can download the file or just view it right up on here. You don't need to have the slides downloaded, but I strongly suggest downloading them after the class and keeping them, because I designed my slides specifically so that when you come back 6 months later and you've forgotten half of the things that you're not using, you can go back and have a good narrative on the thought process. So I put a little bit more text on my slides than a lot of people do, and I include more slides than most instructors in my category do, because I want to make sure that you have good reference materials later on. So I strongly recommend keeping these slide decks. So this is basically where most of your work is going to happen. Every one of these lessons folders has its own lesson. There's a final project folder here with some sample final with the rubric and some sample finals in here. I created one here for a company that I work for, but then there's some other ones from previous, and then there's a link to previous classes in digital marketing. So you get an idea of what some of them look like. What we found, and we keep it in this room, is that a lot of the projects that we found from other classes, I felt didn't meet up to the standards that we expected in our last version with that Jan and I talk. I have very high standards because I want you guys to come out with the best final presentations possible, because I really think that that is the most value you can get is delivering a top-notch investor-grade digital marketing plan. So there are going to be things when we go over that, we're going to say, these are the things that we like, and here are the ways that we would improve these, right? So definitely think about this early and often when you're coming up with whatever project you're going to do this for. Think about, we'll get to that, but I just want to kind of show you where this folder is. So we're at the lesson 1. There's some pre-course materials in here. Take a look, read through at your convenience. It's just some terms and acronyms and some helpful stuff. This folder here, class assignments, is where I'm going to have, some of these other ones are hidden, but if there's an assignment for the module, I'll generally post it right here. And basically you just kind of click in here. You can add your, a student will be able to add your, you'll be able to submit files. I see a different view, but when you go in here, you'll be able to upload a file and submit it. I'll be able to do put comments on them. We can email it back to you. There's a bunch of stuff in there. So we don't have a grade book that we're worried about here. But here's where I want you to pay attention to this, because this is one thing that I'm going to request that you absolutely do is fill out your profile under members, right? So I would please add a picture, just so whatever, any profile picture is fine that we can recognize you. Add a little bit of bio about yourself. You don't have to put your birthday in there, but just things, stuff that you talked about today, why you're here, your background, what kind of work you do, etc. Your email address is optional. We have it if we need to contact you. So we just want to learn more about you, right? It helps because other students will be able to kind of look at your information and get a reminder about what it is you do, your background, especially if you want to collaborate on a final project together, which you're allowed to do. So this kind of gives you helps us to learn you guys a little bit better, because it helps, you guys aren't going to always have these little placards in front of you and I want to learn your names, name and face. It also gives us a little information so that when we're teaching, we can actually use examples that are relevant to what you do out in the working world. So that's definitely important, because we come from so many different backgrounds and have so many different reasons that we're learning this topic. I think that's pretty much it. You don't have to worry about blog or portfolios or anything like that. Most of it is going to be definitely fill out your profile and your members, and your materials are all in these different folders. So next week, we're going to be pulling a slide deck from, this one will be opened up and you'll be able to pull the slide deck for brand strategy. Any questions on Schoology? If you don't have the link, send us an email and we'll either resend, but I think it's from one of the administrative emails. Just search your inbox for Schoology. You'll see an invite code.
How long after we're done with the class do we still have access to school?
Yeah, good question. I think it's in the number of weeks, but please don't wait that long. I don't know if there's a standard for how long afterwards. I would suggest by the 18th session is like the last actual session that we do, and then we're doing our last two sessions are simply for your presentations. So I would suggest by the last week you actually make sure you've downloaded all of the materials that you want, all of the extra files, all of the slide decks, etc., just to be on the safe side. So cool. So I want to really quickly run through just kind of what our course looks like. It's a little bit different than what you saw on the digital marketing webpage. I organized my version of this course a little differently just because the way I like to teach it and how I wanted to structure the course leading up to your final. So we do start with business strategy and marketing and go into branding in the first week, so today and Thursday. I really believe strongly that in order for us to move into digital topics and have a good context of it, there are certain themes in strategy and marketing that are important to know. We can't cover it. I mean, you can have entire courses on these topics, so we're only going to cover the things that are relevant, what we absolutely need for this course. Some of you guys may know some of these things already. So hold on, because we just want to make sure we're all up to speed. By the end of the course, the consultant that I brought in to listen to the presentations, who was someone that I learned marketing from, said I couldn't tell who had marketing experience before this or who didn't. So that's why it's so important in the first week for us to bring everyone into the same page, so that when we go into the digital stuff, we're all able to understand it equally. So right after that, and next week we get into marketing analytics and marketing metrics. And some of the stats and metrics that are really important no matter what form of digital marketing we do. So it's really important for us to know the difference between a metric and what's a KPI or key performance indicator. What are the metrics that matter for certain business objectives, and what are the ones that don't matter as much? Because we could get lost in the sea of data if we don't really prioritize what's important to measure and analyze and what's not. We'll go into user experience fundamentals for a website, so what makes websites perform better statistically and digitally, analytically, and all that, and just some of the good practices on how to make a well-designed website that gets you better results from your web visitors. We go into, from there, the search side, so everything related to, everything related to Google from an advertising perspective and from a search optimization perspective, so that your website is able to be found more easily organically, because those are very different strategies. So I've separated those out into two individual modules. We go directly from search advertising into other forms of advertising that we're going to care about, which some of you will use in your final project, which is display advertising, retargeting, and social media advertising, among some of the other forms that we cover. We then go into social media marketing, influencer marketing, how to have an effective social media strategy that we can also determine some level of ROI and get some results from, instead of it being this fuzzy topic that a lot of marketers have trouble justifying in their expenses. By mid-course, we'll be doing a really short, like in-class, collaborative midterm, super low pressure. I'm going to partner you guys up. It was a really fantastic way to sort of bring back your material. It's open book. It's really fun, and it solidifies some important knowledge that you've learned thus far. And we'll also actually go over some final projects, some samples, so you can see what a good final project looks like, because that's really important to model something for you guys, so that you can come in really confident when it gets to the final week. We go into other functions like email marketing, content marketing, how to be effective at copywriting, and then we talk about some general digital marketing topics like activating and retaining customers and getting them ramped up and more active in whatever app or service or download or product that you're selling. And then the last couple sessions are about some more Google Analytics skills, like segmenting audiences, targeting and tracking audiences across different platforms. This originally was a little earlier in the course, but I like to bring us into the functions of digital marketing first, because they're more likely to be used in your final project. So this is a little bit out of place, but by the time you've gone through all of these functions, there's a little bit more context to how we use these. And then some testing and experimentation on, like, if you're going to run experiments so that you can learn how to make each one of your functions better and how to set those up in a really a sensible way. And then I leave the last session 18 before we get into our final project open. We may do a custom session where we take some of your remaining questions and areas that you want to learn more about, and I like to build a custom deck for that so we can, you know, if there's a topic that you're really just itching to learn, we send out a survey and say, hey, you tell us what you want to learn so that you're making sure that you're getting what you need out of this course. If we need to cover a topic in more detail though that we haven't covered here, we'll use that session for that. And then the last week 10, will be your presentation. So you guys get to all, you know, either get up here and show us what you've learned, which is really fun because it's just some of the, what we get out of this. If you put work, if you really put the time and energy and you show up and you participate, you'll be surprised at just how strong digital marketers you guys are at the end. So I'm really excited for that. We really had a great time last time. So any questions on this flow or any other topics that we're going to be learning? And we'll get there too. If you have a question on what we learn or if the specific topic is covered, then please check it with me afterwards. Okay. So without further ado, let's talk about business and marketing strategy. Okay. By the end of tonight's lesson, hopefully we can get through this in an hour and 15 minutes, you'll be able to define and communicate the basic business components such as the brand and the value proposition. You'll be able to articulate your value proposition through an elevator pitch, or what I like to call a positioning statement, and also a lean business model, which is a simplified way of getting to describe how your business operates. We'll be able to define your target customer through a customer empathy map or through a demographic and psychographic analysis of customers. And we're also going to talk about the role of marketing in a broader context within an organization and why we have to understand our business goals and objectives before we actually engage in any marketing, planning, or campaigns. So the underlying question that we first have to ask ourselves as marketers should be obvious, but why does my business exist? And perhaps more importantly, why should anyone care about that? How often do we hear about someone's amazing business idea that they think is the best thing ever, but we listen to them and we're like, yeah, that just sounds so not amazing, right? People, they get this idea of this amazing new product that they have to have, but they've done no market analysis. They haven't talked to people to know if they're actually solving a problem. They just happen to invent something, and now they want to take it to market and get rich, right? We've heard this over and over again, right? And then what happens is they end up being like a product store in the middle of the desert because they haven't analyzed their marketplace. They don't know if they're actually solving a need that's out there. I'm doing a consulting project right now for a 3D modeling company that is trying to solve problems in the footwear industry. And we literally have to do 150 hours of primary research to determine if this piece of software that they're trying to build actually would be able to be sold within the high-end fashion for footwear, right? It's just some random industry that we think would accept this product. But if we can't sell it, then they're wasting all of their time and resources and $1 million to develop a software program. So we're doing the analysis to figure it out, right? And that's something that's important to do.
Does that really exist?
I don't know. It might be, that might be photoshopped in. We'll see. I hope it is, right?
No, it doesn't exist. It's real.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, it's real. But they weren't really trying to sell it, I don't think.
Yeah, maybe PR thing or something, yeah. Important to know, before you can develop an effective marketing strategy, you first need to deeply understand your business. Not enough marketers really get to know all the aspects of the business when they first get their job marketing somewhere. Sometimes they go in and they think, oh, I just need to make an ad campaign, right? No, you need to absolutely understand everything about your business so that you can effectively communicate with your audience and know about your audience and competitive landscape. The business meaning your market environment, your customers, what their actual needs are, and what place your company has in fulfilling those needs, and the competitive environment. The most important metrics, and we're going to get into metrics next week, are going to come out of understanding this, because otherwise we're just going to be measuring things for the sake of measuring things and producing all of this random data, and if we don't know how we're fulfilling the needs of our audience and how to measure that, then our digital marketing activities will be wasted. I mentioned this idea of a value proposition before. Value proposition is simply a company's reason for existence. It takes many forms. There's a lot of ways that we can describe a value proposition. The one way that we communicate this is through an elevator pitch. GA likes to call this an elevator pitch. I like to call it a positioning statement. I come from a slightly more traditional marketing training where we call it a positioning statement. It answers the question, why is the customer better off? Because if the customer is not better off, then nobody's going to care about your business, you're not going to sell anything, and you're going to go out of business really fast. A couple good quotes about a value proposition. It lies at the intersection of unmet market needs, companies' core competencies, meaning what you're very good at as a company. Not that you have a finance or accounting department or you have a legal department, but what it is that your company uniquely does better than your competitors, right? And currently unclaimed positions in the marketplace. Right? Another quote related, strategy is based on a differentiated customer value proposition. Satisfying customers at the end of the day is ultimately a source. They say the source, I say a source of sustainable value creation, meaning that if you want your company to continue to grow and succeed, you always need to be somehow solving a customer need, and hopefully better than any other company in your field is doing. An elevator pitch or a positioning statement is a concise definition of exactly this, communicating your value proposition and who your customers are. Here's the template that I like to use, and this will be one of the first slides in your final project because it is such a powerful statement. Elevator pitch sentence structure. For a target customer who has a specific customer need, our product is a something that has a specific benefit. And unlike our competitors, this product has something unique about it, something that differentiates it from competitors. Here's an example. Every one of these is an extremely important element to be able to explain why your business has a need for existence. And the difference between being able to write a good elevator pitch and not is the difference between it being able to explain whether a company can succeed or not, if you can accurately and confidently write these elements in there. Here's an example. A little dated, but there's a reason for that. For worldwide web users who enjoy books, already dated, Amazon.com is a retail bookseller that provides instant access to over 1.1 million books. Unlike traditional book retailers, Amazon.com provides a combination of extraordinary convenience, low prices, and comprehensive selection. Right? Who are target customers? Is it? Who are target customers?
People who read.
People who read, worldwide web users or internet users who, I think this was written before smartphones too, who enjoy books, right? The customer need is people who are basically trying to read books. They're in the marketplace of selling books, in the book retailer market, if you will, right? They have the benefit of providing instant access to at the time, a large number of books, right? And what differentiates them is that they had some of the best service, the lowest prices, and the largest selection when you compare it to like Barnes & Noble, right? So this is a little dated because Amazon, it's just Amazon now, and they they sell a little bit more than just 1 million books, right? Fun fact: this was the actual value. This was the actual elevator pitch or positioning statement that was used during the time, however many years. I don't remember the exact year, but this was their positioning statement that was used in their company, right? Is Amazon huge now? Yes. Is it only because they had a great positioning statement? No, absolutely not. But this statement right here explains exactly why they are unique and why they provide an unmet market, unmet value to their customers. Here's another elevator pitch. For users of computers, John's Computer is an electronics store that provides good service and carries a variety of products. Unlike our competition, John's Computers offers free popcorn to our shoppers. I'm saying this is a lame positioning statement. Why am I saying it's lame? Tell me. Tell me, why is this a lame positioning statement in comparison?
Differentiator.
Right, what's their differentiator?
Free popcorn.
Does anybody care about free popcorn when you're going and buying a computer? No, absolutely not. And it seems silly, but a lot of companies will find something that they consider to be unique about them that to them may seem special, but their customers don't give a crap about that because it doesn't have to do specifically with the value of buying and selling a computer. What else? Target customer, right? What for users of computers? Why that's a customer target, right? Why is that not good?
So why do general?
It's so general, absolutely so general, right? There are companies that can meet the needs of a broad group of people, but no company is going to, unless you're like Dell, but even Dell has a specific subset of people who buy computers at a particular price range and want flexibility and want a particular buying behavior, right? You're kind of all over the map there. You're not really targeting. You're just saying if someone needs a computer at all, right? What about their customer benefit, right? Provides good service and carries a variety of products. Seems like I've heard that before, right? Why is that not good though? It's way too broad. Yeah, absolutely. Anyone can say you carry a variety of products. Anyone can say you have good service, right? That doesn't tell us anything. It's a retail store. So you would hope at the bare minimum they carry a variety of products and have good service. But this is the type of positioning statement, if left unchecked, that will actually appear out there. This is how someone might explain their business if you ask them what their business is, but it's not convincing. And it's not only not convincing as to them being able to be a sustainable business, but also being the best, being unique, being differentiated against their competitors. Not convincing at all. So, let's do an activity. You guys are going to get into, well, we're not going to do groups of 4, but for the next 10 minutes, we're going to split up into 5 different groups. And we're going to take 5 companies, not necessarily in the digital realm, but every company has a digital strategy. And we're going to actually do an elevator pitch for each one of these companies. So you have to think about each one of these little ad lib sections and fill these out for Starbucks, Target, BMW, Subway, and Apple computers. So please count off, we'll start in the back there, count off by 5s, and then we'll have you go to different places in the room and actually create an elevator pitch.
1,
2,
3,
4, 5,
1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2,
3,
4.
5, 1. Okay, who am I ones? Ones? 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. You can actually write on these desks or on the white walls, not on the brick. So what I'm gonna have you guys do is go have your 1s come up here, 2s, 3s, 4s, and then 5s in the corner, or wherever you want to meet. Starbucks is 1, Target is 2, BMW is 3, Subway is 4, Apple is 5. Create an elevator pitch for these companies. You have 10 minutes. We're going to end at 8:30, 8:35 maybe.
That's good handwriting.
Yep.
Good, we're at Starbucks? Yes. Okay. Okay.
I'm like really close.
Starbucks?
Yeah. Nice to meet you. So you just specific, how many 3? Coffee drinkers, that's really fun, right?
Are you 2?
Nice to meet you. It's also, just
I'm here to be helped. You can do it now, you can do it
Yeah, that's what I
So not everyone needs to buy those products to go to Target. So there's different, you know, like there's Walmart stores, right, there's different price points, different stores. So you don't have to get super specific about like right now.
Yeah.
Versus like going to Walmart. There's price differential, there's quality, there's selection. We can come back to that one because you may have to answer you. You may have to answer from someone like Target versus Walmart.
They were cheaper than anything. That's what you think about. We did a nice copy of for
I think that's one of the.
that works.
No, I think that's the main
Subway is.
5 minutes, start writing stuff down. 5 minutes, start writing stuff down. Oh, yeah, no kidding, yeah. Oh, really? Okay, cool. Nice. We do it each other. Yeah, all right, definitely. Yeah, most people just park right across the street so you can get away with Okay. Cool. Yeah, you'll definitely have some transferable skills. Right place.
And they also
That's good. Busy.
Looking back and forth.
Maybe because I care more about coffee, so like just care more about how it tastes. So we can change it. Starts coffee.
2 minutes, finish up, 2 minutes.
So Walmart just goes. guys are very formal, it's not really added value. It's like more radio.
I think they're gonna be
One minute, get your last words down. We're almost done.
The target is TikTok. So you can also target maybe.
No, just a little promising. Brett, how many words were you?
I mean, it's.
We were trying to say it was probably in the restaurant, but just going back to keeping it to
All right. Let's finish up. You can stay where you are. Stay where you are. This is. We got a lot to cover, so your silence and we will move forward. Almost true. I need like a cowbell or something. If you are done, turn and face me. All right, you guys good? Close enough? Okay. So the activities we do throughout this course, we're going to try and average 1 to 2 activities per session. Are going to be a mix between brands that we know and can analyze, because the idea of like case analysis or analyzing other companies is a really important skill, because it makes us think beyond just our company, so we can transfer those skills to what we're actually doing and problems that we're trying to solve. So we're going to balance between that and then actually going and doing it for the companies that are going to be part of your final project. So in this case, we started with companies that we know pretty well. So elevator pitch again, for target customer is customer need. Product name is a market category that has a specific key benefit or benefits. Unlike our competitors, the product does this unique differentiated offering source. So let's start with target. Someone choose a spokesperson and read us slowly your elevator pitch.
Target is a design-conscious consumer who appreciates brand name products at a discount price. Target is a department store that offers quality, on-trend, affordable merchandise, unlike other department stores. Target offers access to high-end brands with convenience and quality all under one roof.
That's good.
Yeah, so what you're saying is they're balancing the cost, the consumer cost effectiveness or price effectiveness with still the quality there. Now they're a straddling technique basically. If you look at a company like Walmart, they're focusing on price competition, and you've got like the Nordstroms and the other companies of the world that like have just more, they focus on more like the higher end retail, maybe like the Macy's and whatnot. But Target really tries to straddle the line there, which is any strategy class you ever take is a very, very tough balance to have. So pretty good. Any thoughts or suggestions on that? It's pretty well rounded, I think. I like that you cover the quality, you cover the design element. It's good. Cost effectiveness. Good. These exercises in the real world, you have more than 15 minutes to figure it out. But it's more about the thought process, right? The thought process. We'll hear exercises where someone maybe doesn't quite get the mark, and that's okay. We just want you to think through and be able to defend your answer. This is a very good one, thank you. Let's go to BMW. Let's slowly read your positioning statement to us.
All right. BMW is for the luxury car enthusiast who has the desire for high performance. BMW is a German engineered automaker that merges quality, comfort into a driving experience unlike their competitors.
Okay, yeah, so we're already classifying the consumer you go after. It's not any car buyer, it's a person who's really, it's an idea for luxury, quality, comfort, right? They have like a slogan or something, right? It's the high performance. Yeah, now they win like the award pretty much every year for the performance on that. Very good. Any thoughts on that one? Another really strong positioning statement. Is there a question there? Okay. Cool, thanks. Let's go on to Subway.
All right, Subway. For sandwich foodies who have a need for a quick meal, Subway is a fast food restaurant that offers an inexpensive and customizable fast food option. Unlike the burger chains, the product is a high-quality, healthy alternative.
Good, yeah, and even like Quiznos, right? Because Quiznos is arguably a little bit less healthy and they do a little differently. But Subway, the Subway franchise model started almost like a revolution of this style of customizable, fast casual or fast food type of service where you very quickly go through an assembly line style and customize your own, yeah. For sandwich foodies, never heard that one before. Any thoughts, questions, suggestions? It's okay, guys. It's a safe place. No, it's good though. It's good though. I like this, and I think you're right in the sense that when Subway was, was really starting, it became the alternative to kind of like the fast food burger joints, and then we've seen many more fast casual, healthier options, healthier than Subway now, arising because of it. High sodium chicken. That's not really chicken, maybe. So. And then let's go to Apple, which I think is a specific time period, right?
Yeah, since Apple survey 82 because Apple's like got so many products now and so whatever. So they said originally it's for educators, students who need a personal computer. The Apple IIe offers that's faster, simpler, and easier to use. Unlike IBM, Apple computers have a better user design and are more cost effective.
Right. So they did. That was sort of the niche they went after back in the early '80s. Was like the education market, and they were trying to corner that. Has anyone seen the Jobs movie, whatever, where he was like yelling at the engineers, like, no, that feature needs to be in there. No matter how much the cost was, they wanted to focus. And this is some historical actors, make sure to that. Focusing on getting what the users really wanted at the expense of short-term profits. And so that really, when the Mac started to really pick up, the thing that you heard most often was, oh, it's more fun to use, it's easier to use, it makes more sense than like, the late DOS and early Windows and all that. So very good. Thanks for giving the time period. We did the last time the group that did this, they tried to do the broader one, which is a hard thing to do, right? Like there is a positioning statement for it, but it's a more complex one. I like that we did a specific.
What would you say so?
That one was more like for the new age, tech savvy individual, with a slightly higher price point that's looking for performance and style. So it was getting a little bit more to like a lifestyle brand almost. Like if you look around them, a lot of people who come to these have, I almost think the majority have Apples who come here, just because it's like a Silicon Beach type of computer customer. But yeah, and then they did other things like high performance and style, ease of use, user experience. Although now the computers are getting more competitive. The iPhone is no longer quite as unique in its functionality, so it's a little bit tougher to make that argument now. But this is great. Thank you. Any questions, Sauce? Okay, let's take a seat.
Starbucks.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, Starbucks. My bad. All right. Go back to everyone else.
You guys can't see ours. For the discerning coffee and tea drinkers who require quality beverages, Starbucks is a coffee house that provides a premium coffee and tea experience. Unlike McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts, the product is personalized and consistent.
Unless you're in the airport. Which is me this morning, a terrible vanilla latte. Good, yeah, so what are the key elements of this one that really differentiate it from?
Consistency.
Consistency, yeah. Huge, right? They shut down all the stores one year so that they could develop, really make the experience more consistent, right? The coffee enthusiast, someone who likes a very personalized type of product, very good. And a lot of companies then start to try and mimic that. I don't know if Coffee Bean came after, but originally they didn't think that this model would get out of Seattle, right? Has anyone been to the original one by Pike Place Market, right? It looks pretty old school still, but then it expanded so rapidly because this model that they drove from the Italian barista was such a hit. But in order to grow and scale, they had to have this consistent experience. It was an absolutely big factor, along with the ability to customize high quality coffee drinking. Customer service also became incredibly important, and as a driver to bring people back and back again and again. Community would be another good one too. Like they try and create an environment where people who are working on their screenplays and other projects can go and collaborate with each other and have a comfortable place to be. So it's almost like creating community, much like what GA tries to do here. So, good, great, thank you. All right, so let's take a seat while you're doing that. Just think about something really quick, right? I pose the question, what can go wrong? What can go wrong if you don't time your elevator pitch before going to market? But let me ask this more broad, and this is just whoever wants to answer this. Why is an elevator pitch or a positioning statement? I'm going to just call it a positioning statement now. Why is a positioning statement an important exercise to do? It's one of the first things you do in marketing, or something like a positioning statement. Why is it so important? Yes.
It drives a lot of your activity and messaging. It sets the stage, and if you're kind of vague and scattered with that, maybe your other messaging will reflect that, and then you throw out that gets bigger.
Right, it affects your messaging, right? Where does messaging go? Across everything that we do in digital marketing almost, we're communicating in some way, shape, or form, and in traditional marketing too. Everything that's public facing is influenced by this. Because if we're throwing out there what different key benefits and whatnot, but they're not unique differentiators, or they don't solve a specific customer need that is really important to them, not the free popcorn garbage, but the things that customers really care about, that they would choose your brand over another, right? Those are the things that we need to communicate in our messaging, among our branding and our personality, et cetera. Yes?
How do you know you get the right one? I mean by that is you're going to the market, you've written this plan, but how do you know it's the right benefit to that customer? How do you know it's going to be the right fit?
Hopefully you've done some research in your audience if you're going to market. Like I was mentioning before, like for this one, a lot of consulting companies, when they're helping launch, they go out in the field and they do analysis, they talk to their customers, they find out what their pain points are, we're going to go into a little bit about like customer empathy maps and thinking beyond just demographics, because when we're looking at our customers and what they actually want, and what needs aren't being served, we need to think of beyond just what's their age, sex, location, income, and all of that stuff. That's a great question. And if you get it wrong, you have to be able to pivot, And sometimes it's just your messaging being able to move the right benefit forward and say, oh, we've learned that our customers don't actually care about this. They don't care about X, they care about Y and Z. So we pivot our positioning. And some companies even, they spend a lot of money on a new product and they realize this didn't go well, and they figure out why it didn't go well, and then they move to a second version of a product that does go well. It's being able to pivot. And that goes beyond simply just marketing, but audience analysis is a big part of that.
So would you then take potentially customer personas and say, hey, if you don't know for sure, you should try the market. Say this one is targeted to X, Y, Z type, this type of event, this type of thing. Put it out there from a copy perspective, but all other marketing systems tested against something else. Is that
yes? Okay. And with digital, what we're going to find is that we have the ability to track performance back to specific, for instance, ad creatives. So if we were running different banner ads or search ads or Facebook posts or whatever it is, or email campaigns, we can test things and measure the performance. And then if that didn't work, we switch up the copy, we switch up the imagery, we switch up the branding, the personality, all of the elements that we can test effectively through tracking mechanisms, through analytics and all the different analytics platforms involved with the different channels. Things that we're going to actually get to in this course, how to do A/B testing and multivariate testing and whatnot to determine, was this effective for our audience? But this type of analysis, even if you get it wrong, well, and especially if you get it wrong, you can determine, are we making the right products? Are our products really serving needs better than our competitors? Did we launch a product that we thought really fit the market, but then a competitor launched a better version of that product 2 months later and blindsided us, right? These are things that when we get to the end of tonight's module, when we talk about why marketing is not just about promotion, we need to think about marketing in the broader context of what we're doing in business.
I have a question.
Yes.
What if a company has like 2 or 3 products that are all different? Is it okay to make 3 different elevator pitches?
Yeah, you can do it for a company level. You can and should probably do it for different product categories. Not every company goes through specifically this exercise. They might have their own versions of it, but it is something that you guys will all do as part of your final project, because just in 15 minutes, you can be very telling about a company's strategy before any other, and it sets the stage for, again, as you were saying, for any of your messaging and which audiences you're targeting, how to find those audiences using our digital technologies. Absolutely, it impacts a lot after this. So I want to briefly cover business models. We don't need to spend a lot of time on this. This is something that you can do, or the exercise will be good for when you actually get into your final project planning. If you are a business owner or you're starting a business, you're our key partner, you'll probably have thought about these things already and should know them pretty well. But any marketer should have a deep understanding of these topics, right? Broadly speaking, a business model is a company's practical blueprint for effectively addressing the needs of the customer that you have selected through your audience analysis and how you're going to market. It describes how you create value, deliver it, and then capture value back through sustainable revenue and hopefully profits. So in other words, how does the company make money? How do they become profitable? How are they how are they providing value to their customers in the long term in a way that they continue to do that without succeeding to competitors? There's a good book, Business Model Generation. That has, in case you're interested in reading this, good quote from this: "You can't business model your way out of a crappy product." And here's we're not going to spend time doing an activity on this, but I want to talk a little bit about this. This is a kind of newer, maybe not newer, but a popular condensed version of like a business plan. It's called Lean Canvas, or a Lean Business Canvas, or Lean Business Model. It's a great exercise if you don't want to write a 50-page business plan. What's the problem with, and not to say that you should never do it, but what's the problem sometimes with, like, in the digital age of a long, drawn-out business plan, right? You're starting a company, you got a 50-page business plan, you cover every area of the business, you haven't launched it yet, you've got a great theory on how every mechanic of your business is going to work, right? What can be the problem sometimes when you launch your business?
Technology changes.
Technology changes, right?
Flexibility.
What's that?
Flexibility.
Right, if you were to stick exactly to that plan, you may not have the flexibility. I mean, you could change, but as you change your operations and your marketing strategy, or you discover that this target audience doesn't work out, then all of a sudden your plan gets more out of date, right? So this is a relatively quick exercise you can do, either in addition to or instead of, to kind of outline the entire path for doing business, right? So you can look at it from either a product and a market standpoint, but if we look at simply just our market, right? We've identified through our value proposition, or excuse me, through our positioning statement, who our target customers are, right? We're going to be thinking about what are the problems that they have, what are the problems that we're trying to solve, the value that we're trying to provide to them that maybe other companies or competitors aren't doing, right? Our unique value proposition, a single, clear, compelling message that states why you're different and worth paying attention to and different than your competitors. This really is your positioning statement right here, right? What are some of the key features, also kind of answered by your positioning statement? How do you get to the customers? We don't always sell the same way. Is it a mobile product? Is it digital? Is it a subscription model? What is the way that you get to a customer? What if you're a business-to-business software company? How do you have sales reps? How do you market? There's a lot of factors of how you get from your product to revenue to your customer, and it's not always the same as you open up a store online and sell to people through promotion, through search advertising, right? We also care about things like what your revenue streams are. It's not always just simply add something to your shopping cart, right? There's passive income, there's subscription income. There's a lot of different ways that you can generate revenue. advertising through a mobile application for your Boom Beach or Clash of Clans game, or buying credits. There's so many ways that you can generate revenue, and it's important to be able to identify what those are like. Some are scalable more easily than others, important to know. Also the cost structure, right? So many companies go into business without truly understanding their cost structure well enough. It's not just for the financial people. The marketing people need to understand this well too, because pricing is an important area of marketing as well. Understanding what the market will bear, what people are willing to pay. We don't go into that topic too much, but I just like to mention, right? And then 2 more things, the metrics. We're going to be covering metrics next week. The key activities you measure and the data that is produced from them, right? We're going to understand what is a conversion, right? What is, why do we care about average order value and some other things that drive business and drive revenue for different types of businesses online, right? Whereas simply site visitors and page views for some businesses, like a media site, is a driver of revenue. And so we'll talk about why those matter and which metrics we're going to measure more often. And then of course your unfair advantage. So things about your business that can't easily be copied or bought, or if you have a patent, if you have an operational chain, right? Like there's things that Walmart is not just about their low prices, and their low cost to be able to do that. It's also about the organization, the operational strategy, this interwoven chain of strategies that they use in order to grow and scale quickly. And every business has the potential of having its own unfair advantage that builds the walls up against competitors. So it's important for you to really think about that. Too many companies think that they have advantages that are not really advantages, that are easier to copy than they realize with enough revenue, or excuse me, with enough investment. So I don't want to do the activity just because we don't have as much time, but I strongly suggest that you do this activity for your business, especially if you're just starting the marketing and maybe you don't own the business. If you own the business and all of this is answered by what you're doing, then you'll be able to clearly articulate that. But especially if you're like either new to marketing or just stepping into a new type of digital marketing role, do this for any business that you are a part of. And I promise you it'll make what you do later on in marketing a lot easier, just like that positioning statement we talked about. Maybe an obvious question, but why do we need to understand our business model before any marketing activities begin? What can happen? What can happen if you don't do something with this or go through this exercise? Yes?
Ways to go circles. If you don't have a clear direction on what your business is supposed to be, what you actually is your end goal, you can sort of say, oh, this seems like a good idea. It may not be something to your actual, what you're trying to get at.
Correct, you can be unfocused. Exactly, what else?
You waste time and money.
Waste time and money. Or you do something that doesn't turn out to be profitable. It's a great idea, and the customers would be glad to pay this amount of money for it, but because you didn't go through this exercise, you're not profitable. Or you chose the wrong target audience, right? Or you didn't really clearly define all of your revenue streams and you missed opportunities. A lot of reasons why not defining every one of these elements, and then some. Or you didn't clearly define, if you couldn't fill out that box for unfair competitive advantage, a sustainable competitive advantage, and you wonder why competitors are now stealing your market share after a year or two, it's because you didn't find a way to fill that box with something relevant that you can protect, right? So it forces you to go through and be able to answer those questions. And if you can't answer them confidently, you're missing a piece of competitive business strategy. There's many other things. We're just glossing over some business and marketing strategy stuff. So I know there's many more things we can talk about, but these are very good exercises to do. Okay, let's talk a little bit about customer personas. We're going to get a little bit more into this as we go, but I want to briefly cover this topic because in the very beginning, before we do any digital activities, we need to think about our customers more than just their gender, their ethnicity, how much money they make, etc. Demographics are important, right? For business-to-business companies, we care about what the job titles are of our target customer and what kind of companies they work for and whatnot. But there's also this idea of a persona. We'll come back to this throughout the course. But think back to our elevator pitch, right? concise definition of a business communicating its value proposition and its customers. Because the value proposition could be completely wrong from targeting customer X, but it could be completely right targeting customer Y. So really, everything hinges on who are you targeting and those characteristics about those people and why they would buy your product, why your product or service best meets their needs. A customer persona, they intricately define a company's target customer beyond, and shallow is not the right word, but we'll say shallow characteristics, age, sex, income, education, and location. One way to do this, of the many ways, is through something we call a customer empathy map. It's an exercise that describes a person, their motivations, their concerns, their behaviors as consumers and individuals, which is also relevant in the digital space as well as what they do in person and inside of a store, etc. Like going to a car lot and buying a car. In order for us to truly understand not just if our product or service fits an audience, but how we need to develop products or services to meet their needs, we have to think beyond those demographic characteristics. We have to know who they are with their identities, their needs, their behaviors. We really need to think about them, the term I use is psychographically as well as demographically. A great exercise for this is an empathy map. There's a lot of ways, a lot of characteristics you can talk about, and in some way, shape, or form, in your final project, you should be able to describe your customer, not just who they are, what their job title is, or how much money they make, or how much they're willing to pay for sponges at the store. Like, you need to think about your customers in terms of who they are, what motivates them, what their values are, why do they prefer a Starbucks coffee over a coffee bean or going to McDonald's, right? What things beyond just, the customer service rep is friendly, right? Maybe that person is an Apple computer person, they drive a BMW, but they also are really passionate about being able to sit down in a comfortable chair and get to express themselves by writing a screenplay, I don't know. But or they appreciate the community aspect of Starbucks. They love the fact that they're doing things in the community and around the world to create sustainable coffee operations. There's many things about a company that relate to them because of their motivations, their value system, that perhaps, and most often subconsciously, drives them back to Starbucks. These are the things that we care about when we talk about our customers. Beyond just, it's a cheap cup of coffee, or it's an expensive cup of coffee, or you can customize it, right? It goes well beyond that. So what do they think and feel, right? Their beliefs, why they make certain purchasing decisions, right? Asking customers, why do you go to Target as opposed to Walmart or Macy's? What is it about that? And we describe the customer and the value that Target creates for the customer, right? But it goes even beyond that. What do the customers say and do? How do they act? What do they like on social media? What is their purchasing behavior? Where do they communicate? How do they communicate? What do the kinds of things do they say online? What does the customer see around them? What are their choices in the marketplace, right? What are their purchasing opportunities that they have, right? What kind of brands, what kind of media do they read, right? Are they the kind of people that are posting things about hot button issues on Facebook? Or, are they people who are really passionate about brands that create sustainable operations and give back to the world? There's a lot of reasons why we make decisions for certain products or services that are going to be relevant to many of your businesses, right? Here, who are their influencers? Who do they follow on social media? If they're a customer, if they're again, I'll use that. If you're a technology company and you sell to, if your target customer is a digital marketer to buy your software program or your technology, right? Like if you're a Marketo of the world or if you're Google AdWords, right? Who are they following on social media? What types of things are influential to them? Your entire content marketing strategy can be based around the types of things that they're influenced by and motivated by in their purchasing decisions and the way that they learn and grow as individuals, right? And perhaps very importantly actually, their pains and gains, right? What are the biggest problems and pain points they have as a customer, right? This tells you right off the bat, what are the needs what are the problems that you have to solve for them if you want to be their choice for a company, right? What are the things that they desire the most? Maybe, we can say goals in life and measures of success, but like, if you're that digital marketing person at a company, and a company is trying to sell software to you, what are the most important things that you're trying to solve in your job, right? If you're choosing between a place to eat or a computer device, what are the most important things to you for those products? Because those are the reasons why you choose the iPhone versus the Nexus, or the Mac versus the Dell, or whatever product is, or the BMW, right, versus the Volvo or Tesla, or whatever different cars you might buy. These are really important with customer analysis points that every company goes through in order to determine which products do we create, how much variety do we have in these products, what are their most important features, and how do we communicate these benefits to our customers. This is a great exercise to do. You absolutely should do this for your clients. Yes?
Do you do this about existing customers or about like new customers? So when I look at this and do this exercise with like who I think comes to my winery, or when I do this about who I want to come to my winery? Am I a real customer or am I an actual customer?
Perhaps both. Because you may find that there are trends within your current customer base that you can capitalize and develop additional wine products or varietals or mixes or whatnot. But then, is that different from what your original vision was? Was your original vision incorrect? Are there similarities or differences that you can exploit for different market opportunities? How many companies go out there and they start in one product category and they expand, right? Our first example was on Amazon. They started in books, right? They had a very clear understanding of their customer and what they valued, and they tested that model of 1.1 million books online, convenient service, low prices, et cetera, great delivery and all that. And then over time, they began to use models like this to learn more about their customers and their behavior, their purchasing behavior. They used all of that data to learn people want to do more of this in different product categories, not just books. So really, this should be a constantly evolving thing, because this may exist this may look different for different audience segments that both buy your product, right? You could have one product that different groups of people buy, and you could have multiple products that serve different customer needs. So this is something that you always want to think about, not just one map for your customers, but for different groups of customers. And are you able to best meet their needs? You may not be. You can't fit every single customer category. You can't meet them all the best. So the point of this is really to find the customers who you best serve, and then do your marketing on that and your product development. But demographics are important too, right? You should be able to briefly describe who your customer is, where they are, income if necessary. There's different levels for different, job titles if you're a B2B type. Let's see if we have the time for activity. Let's do this again. So let's hop up into our same groups, and we're going to do same companies for the next maybe 15 minutes. Let's start a customer empathy map, and let's start with the pains and gains, and then whichever one of these, maybe all of them, maybe a couple of them are relevant for your customer. They won't always be. You don't necessarily need to do what someone's life fears are for a Starbucks customer, but you do need to talk about what kinds of problems are you solving for them. What is a successful coffee buying experience, staying in the store, getting to do work with the free Wi-Fi, having a great customer service interaction. Do this type of empathy map, but in the context of the product or service, right? Don't just be like, they want to, get a PhD and travel the world. Like, that's not probably relevant. So find things that are relevant to that industry and that service category for your specific company. So let's take 15 minutes, hop back up into your groups. You can erase what you have up there and do the same exercise for this, and then we'll share.
I get one of these, this one's a little.
Oh yeah, sure, grab whatever you need. Cool. You don't have to draw the map, you can just write the section letter, right? Start with pains and gains and then move to the other ones as relevant. We'll end this at 9:23, share.
But it will not be.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can, yeah, just spray them off, yeah.
Taste that?
Yeah, that's right.
Like, coming back on me?
Yeah.
This one's challenging because you have to think of it in the context of your industry, product or service.
Yeah, it's your need, like not being able to, coffee on time before work or
Any idea why we'd be doing this?
whatever.
Do you have any idea why this would be doing this? Like, everything is well spaced.
Yeah, so you preview it.
When I preview it, even in like the normal view, it all bunches together. And then in the mobile
Are
view,
they hard spaces or are they,
let's see.
how are they set up? You just hit space bar? Alright, what is it? Let's see. Go back. So where does it say energy? Restore energy. So the challenge is that when you have the spans there are not friendly. They don't like, and look at all the different like spans, right? So this is just when you do front ends, right? That's the only problem with these things is that they like to do this. What I like to do is I like to put the space after the word because before the word sometimes it'll cut it off. That's probably why you're seeing that. So put the word like put a space after the word restore. Oh, there is one.
Restore, I'll change it, I'll change balance.
I don't know. I mean, spans are usually a free time. With a non-breaking space. Maybe just try putting a non-breaking space before in between all of them. That might be your best bet because if it's forcing spans in there, they can get kind of convoluted, and then that's when that stuff happens.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense.
I know, how can we miss that? It's like a huge part.
Hey.
That's such a good one, like, do you understand why?
I'm speaking as the consumer, right?
Yeah, you're like somebody
Yeah, whichever other one you think or like say and do not or something. Some are trying to what's the
Recorded, like, if you really have good experience.
oh yeah, so like people who buy more like current technology, things here's where they see around so they make more sense the market is all around the new latest and greatest, getting to do this technology, iPhone, like the cool new thing that you can do with your iPhone, that gives us some technology and device. The expansion of
What did they say about what are they actually doing? I like design. That's like a big deal.
Yeah, well, so yes.
So how are you relating to that?
When they talk about Starbucks.
I don't know why. I just want to continue to.
Yeah, that's another
Drinking coffee before like that. My parents, my mother, the office, the question about words. And there you go. It's just in general, and it's like.
So then you're getting the same stuff there, taking the same, it's like crazy. Taking the same, same boats. It's like I can tell you deeper my Okay, wrap up your final thoughts. Wrap up your final thoughts.
I would say, any major like use application, favorite signs, small street
Stay where you are when you're done, we'll share from our spots. Okay, finish up. Target, finish up. BMW, finish up. Apple, finish up. Subway, finish up. Okay, so let's start with Starbucks this time. So we can
This was hard, this one.
Let me ask you this way. So what we're looking for is, what this exercise really accomplishes, it gets you thinking about the psychological reasons why a customer chooses your brand to fulfill that need that they have, that problem that they're trying to solve. So from the perspective of the different psychographic or the empathy map or these different elements, starting with pains and gains perhaps and the other ones that are relevant, what are some of the important psychological factors in play here for choosing Starbucks?
Okay, so pains, fear of bad taste, having it actually just taste bad. That's why you choose Starbucks over like a cheaper coffee chain or whatever.
Another pain would be that it would not be served like quickly or consistently, or that it may be inconvenient, if they have to like stop before work, whatever they want it to be fast, but the fear would be that it would be inconvenient and not delicious. The gains, wants and needs, they want delicious drinks, they feel part of the community, they're getting good service. Also, they have amenities at Starbucks like Wi-Fi seating and bathrooms, which we talked about for a while, which is like so random, but that is a huge deal at Starbucks. We didn't get to goals in life. Say and do, they are Starbucks customers, particular and consistent. They want like specific stuff in their drinks. They also like to be rewarded for their loyalty, like with the cards, they want perks. And they're also interested in, and they talk about sourcing like all the free trade stuff. They want to know that they're drinking good quality beans, where the stuff's from. They talk about flavors and styles of coffee in terms of the actual taste of it. And then here we got to like influencers, coworkers who are influencing the Starbucks customer. Like you're saying, I'm going for a Starbucks run. What do you guys want? That would influence the decision making. And then also any major newspaper, publication, online news source.
I want to say some foodies as well, you know, because when you go to Starbucks, you could customize your coffee almost 1,000 different ways. Some pumpkin spice, some frosting in there. There's a lot of things you can do with it.
Well, I think why I say start with pains and gains, because a lot of the questions that when we know about a brand, what they've done over time, where they are now, a lot of this can be answered by the pains and gains. You know, it's not, we talked a little bit about service, you know, they ask for your name for a reason. They get to know their customers' orders when they come in, their regulars. A really important thing is that if you go to Seattle and go to a Starbucks and order, you know, iced chai, something, whatever, and then you go to like, you know, 5 different qualifying factors of that coffee or tea, whatever, and then you go to Nebraska and you go to that corporate Starbucks there, you would expect to have the same tasting drink, right? That consistency. So they're, unless again, you're at the airport, which in case it's probably burnt coffee, but you know, they do things to keep the quality up. You know, they change the coffee every 90 minutes. You know, they have specific ingredients, they have corporate level training, they do things that your experience is positive and consistent, and they are creating that kind of community with the bathrooms and the free Wi-Fi and the loyalty and all that. They're thinking the true definition of customer lifetime value, not the profit margin on one cup of coffee, which really is so. Do you think they knew all of this going through? Or do you think they figured out some of it along the way? What do you think? Along the way, right? That goes back to that question before about do we need to like, you know, how much of this should we know with our current customers, the customers that we want to have? Because we can look at customer segments and say what's the potential for this type of customer and how our product fits their long-term needs. That then turns around into long-term profit for us. So that's really good. Thank you. Let's go to Target.
Pains, we obviously did bad customer service. Competitively priced would be that if you are buying something at Target and you go somewhere else and find something cheaper, you wouldn't be very happy. Inventory or lack of, so if you go to Target and you can't find something that you want to purchase. Gains, we did great customer service, convenience, destination experience, family friendly. They have, the Target offers a discount red card that you can get, so you can get discounts by purchasing more items. Quality and value, say and do, browsing around the store, loyal customer, affordable causing you to overspend. Looking for everything, you have everything in one location, and family experience.
Hey, you mentioned the family experience one a couple times. Where's your thought process behind that?
I think going to Target, you have everything you need, I guess, all in one shop. So, you have your kids section, you have your grocery stores, you have toy sections and whatnot. But you go in there, and I think of Target as an experience when you get there because, as we mentioned, you do browse around. So you can go to Target with your family and find something that perhaps that you guys like together, or bring home together and whatnot, but I kind of see it as a family-friendly location.
Yeah, and another thing too is that the experience in there in terms of the way everything is, with retail, of course, like with retail, everything is very smartly laid out and also designed well. So the experience of what you see, you don't have the clothes all over the floor or dirty shelves or anything like that. They really have a focus on the price point's just cheap enough that they can do mid-quality items, but they also, the layout of the store, the cleanliness and the way that it's all designed, the colors and all that is very, very carefully done, and it's why it's the same pretty much wherever you go.
As soon as you walk in, you get a Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly. maybe not the freshest coffee but very good. Yeah, everything is very specific why they made certain choices with the Target, and it's one of those stores too where like how many people said like, oh man, I can't go to Target because I'll just walk out with the whole shopping cart. Like, we do that, so and that's by design actually. So good, thank you. Let's go to BMW.
So for gains, or we could say pains as well, lack of reliability with what was out there, fear of missing out, aesthetics and design. Prior to BMW, I'm not super versed on the history of cars, but they kind of entered that feature in the mix with their vehicles, like being really sleek and iconic. So the gain is you get status, recognition, community, you get performance. And then I think that ties in with how they're thinking and feeling. They want to be ahead of the curve. They want to be cutting edge, sort of an elite lifestyle, luxury lifestyle. And maybe compared to like a Porsche or more like exotic cars, it's pretty approachable by comparison. So they created more of a middle ground for luxury and elite customers that got a nice balance of sort of the aesthetics and the price. So.
Yeah, it's the accessible, high quality vehicle, and people are willing to pay a little bit more for that performance. They're not, they're not the price hunters, but they're similarly price conscious. They're like that kind of middle to upper level, but they're not buying like the super expensive.
And I think like the sedan versus like Porsche, you can still take the family around it, and so
definitely the little logo on the front sort of also signifies something different too as well. So good. I think that covers it. Let's go to Subway. Moving through these quickly because we got a last part of our lesson.
Pains for Subway, hunger. My dinner can't do a line fast enough, so it could be like too long. There's the whole lunch rush hour, right? Cost is another pain. Then there's high calorie, unhealthy options, right? That's another pain that's out there. So gains, we get option. It's customizable, right? All the food. Losing weight during diets. It's nothing to lose weight, gain, right? Maintain healthy lifestyle, the fresh foods. We have a lot of fresh bread and fresh ingredients. Time is also getting considered quick, they're fast. Cost $5 footlong, right? So it's from that perspective. Lots of locations, lots of convenience, and then transparency. What we meant by that is the calories are listed, so you know exactly what's nutrition facts. So think and feel. Basically, why I was health conscious, but fresh and fast, right? You're on a budget. You have to believe that basically they are healthy and fast and customizable. And basically the overall underlying thing here is people should have a healthy lifestyle and think without right? So healthy lifestyle without breaking bangs.
Good, yeah, and the interesting thing about the whole freshness thing is that they're theoretically probably not the, except for maybe some of the veggies, like, some of like the meats and stuff, not the most like fresh or the most healthy, but it created, as an alternative to burgers, it also kind of created the next generation of like that fast, casual, healthy, organic. So they kind of, in a way, sort of paved the way to that. But definitely the price, definitely the convenience, definitely the transparency with the calories and all that. So there's a lot of really good elements to that. Cool. Thank you. Let's move on. Let's get curious to start.
All right. So for a customer here, they look up to creative people, musicians, and designers. So our customer, Apple's customers, look up to those individuals. Fashion, they have fashionable products. They can customize all the products, so they look up to that. What they think and feel, think different, but they also want to fit in. So it's kind of like for a certain amount of people or customer, they want to think differently, right? They want to have that product that is not the same as a Windows operating system, it's something different that came up, and they want to be part of that, so they want to fit in as well. What do they see synergy among the products? They want to have the MacBook, or they also want to have an iPad and an iPod that they can link everything together. What they say and do. For younger generation, originally younger generation changing now, a lot more people are using it. The latest technology and the loyalty. So people want to be loyal to Apple. They feel bad when they change ID once. Things, the price is high price. We all know that, right? There's a lot of competition out there, so people tend to look up for where the competition is coming and getting new technology. They have to keep up, right? You need to keep up with the technology. For the games, I think again, the synergy. It's this one game and access to the Genius Bar.
Yeah. I think what stands out here is that it's this idea, going back to that concept of, is the empathy not for our existing customers, or is it for other customers that we want to have? And this is a model that's changed over time, because originally it was think different, right? They were trying to be like the anti-Windows, they're really the specialty market for a very particular customer. But how do you continue to capture greater and greater market share and still be that kind of unique underdog, sort of, different? It has to get more mass marketing, so they have to transition that strategy into more accessible, focus on user experience, really that's when we start to see more of like the media elements of the Mac computers come into play, like the GarageBand and the video editing and all of those fun little apps that made it more user-friendly for broad market. But absolutely, it's a loyalty thing. Like, you pay a premium on Apple products, and it's almost like a lifestyle brand now, really. You could technically buy better performing computers for less, but it's that lifestyle brand now. It's almost like the accessible status symbol, like when the original iPhone came out. There are better phones than an iPhone now, but people are just evangelically loyal to Apple in a lot of different ways. So fashion, interesting, all that. Very good stuff. So I want to, any thoughts or questions on any of this, or anything on Apple in particular? We're good. So let's quietly sit down, and I'm going to continue to talk a little bit. We'll wrap up our lesson here. So I think we figured out that these levels of analyses, and there's so many other ways that we could dig deeper into these topics. And major brands like to start with these conversations, but they go far beyond, because they have so much data that they can pull, and so much information and behavior about their customers that they can really analyze and look at the different markets. This is a start. Every company in some way, shape, or form that's having thoughtful analysis about its product offerings and its communication style and its target audience and its competition and their value proposition are doing analyses like these, just more drawn out. And I would absolutely encourage you to continue to have these conversations in your own companies about these things, because it'll better prepare you for what we're going to get into starting next week, which is about the digital side, the digital analysis, and getting into actual campaigning and using the technology. But we do this because we have to understand our audience and our market, and really who we are as a company and how we deliver value within the market. True or false? Marketing success is about the value I provide and how I communicate it. If it's true, put your thumbs up. If it's false, thumbs down. Marketing success is all about the value I provide and how I communicate it. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs down, a few thumbs down. Someone who's thumbs up, why do you defend this as true?
Because if you don't find it valuable or entertaining, whatever is valuable in your I wouldn't really care for it. And I was communicating if it's not the voice that I use. If it's very robotish, I wouldn't care for anything.
Right, so you have to provide a value that's important, and you've also got to communicate effectively. What about the other end? Someone who thumbs down? Why do you think this is false? I saw some thumbs down. Over there.
I have my thumb up, but I could say the thumbs down, that it's the value you provide you've got to make sure that that value you provide is what the customer actually wants. So that you have to be confident in what you're providing them, that customer, otherwise you can think you're providing it, but you're really not.
Right, so value that we provide is important.
Like, wait,
Right, so providing value is important, but we can provide different levels of value to our customer. We could provide different benefits to the customer. And we could have the best copywriters in the world and the best ad agency in the world. What if that's not what our customer needs? What if that's not what's going to differentiate us, right? It's not really like a definitely right or wrong, true or false kind of thing, but these are really important points. It brings up the topic of branding, among other topics. And we're not going to go too far into branding, but really think about brand as a precursor to next week. Brand is a person's, someone else's gut feeling about a product, service, or organization. It's a person's gut feeling because brands, as we're going to come to learn, are defined by individuals, the people who see the brands from the outside, not the company itself or the market that you're in. And it's a gut feeling because people are emotional, intuitive beings who, through our analysis, through things like empathy maps and psychographic analyses of our customers, they have different motivations and desires, pains and gains, what they see, hear, and feel. And perhaps most importantly, it's your brand is not what you say it is, it's what they say it is. Couple quotes: brand is a set of expectations, memories, and stories that taken together account for a consumer's decision to choose one product or service over another, including brands that are very similar to each other, right? Emotional shorthand for accumulated or assumed information. A brand is present when the value of what a product, service, or personality means to its audience is greater than what it does for its audience. Examples: some of the brands that we use every day, right? We have different feelings about these brands. They solve different needs for us. They solve different problems, and we feel different ways about them compared to their competitors, right? We have thoughts and opinions about these brands. And we're going to explore this more next week, right? But I want to go back to that point that yes, the value that we provide is important, and how we communicate it is also very important. And we are going to explore that. But also the second point, and I'm glad you guys went both directions with this, is that you don't have all of the control. If you make the wrong choices and you choose the wrong audiences and you decide to go after a benefit and a need that is not as important to them, you have missed opportunities. So let's think more broadly though for a second, right? What is marketing? What is marketing? Does anyone want to be brave and offer their idea of what marketing is without going ahead 8 slides? Anyone? Bueller?
it's communicating your core message, you're communicating in the most precise, efficient way to your customer.
Mm-hmm. I like the inclusion of that. Definitely, absolutely. And what else? What else is marketing?
How you do it.
How you do it. It's interesting. Why you do it, yeah. Absolutely. There are elements of, well, those are correct. I think those absolutely fit into the umbrella. I will say this, marketing is not just a department. It's often thought of, anyone who may not work in marketing might sometimes say that it's not just a department. Another common one, marketing is advertising your products to people so that they buy them, or promoting your products and services to people is a very common definition. Marketing and advertising are thought of very similarly, but perhaps not quite as expansive or specific enough. Here's another one. If you're to do a Google search for marketing, you will see this definition according to the Google search: action or business of promoting and selling products or services, including market research, which is that Y, and advertising. I don't like this one either, though. This is the one that I like. Marketing is the process of creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. The definition by the American Marketing Association. I think this better encompasses the process of marketing, because marketing is not just about a product or service that's already been created and now it's your job to make money from it. right? That is the promotional side of marketing, which is important. But just from our analyses tonight, we can see that companies go into new line areas of business because of what they learn and how their customers respond to them, right? They communicate in a certain way and represent themselves in a certain way, as we'll learn on Thursday in branding, to demonstrate their personality and to influence a brand perception about them, right? There's a lot of elements of the process of like what products you create for what audience. How do you choose the right audiences to go into? How do you choose the right product or services to go into? Because at the end of the day, we're trying to do something that provides value to somebody else, to a group of people that we can do in a sustainable and scalable way to keep growing a business. That's what the essence of scalable business is all about. And going back to that definition of continuing to solve problems for our customers instead of I have a nifty gadget and I want to get rich off of it. Big difference between the two of those things. As marketers, we want to answer the following questions. What needs exist out there? What niches or specific sections of the market that are underserved could we start to corner and really own? Who are we creating it for, targeting, as we'll see with our technology? Where are we offering it? Through what channels, online, offline, retail stores, geographically, as an app or as a subscription service? How we're going to deliver value, right? Not just what benefits we're going to offer, but how we're actually going to deliver value to our consumers. How are we going to communicate that value, right? We do an entire module on copywriting, but also how are we analyzing all of this and our positioning statements and all of that so that we know how to effectively communicate it in the right way. And where we get into the digital stuff, what are we measuring? What are we analyzing? What levers are we looking at? What metrics are we going to analyze? What data? And how are we going to use that data to improve it, right? It's not just about doing a search advertising campaign and trying to do it profitably. We have data points. We have mass information that we can dig into, analyze, and use to improve our marketing operations, which will be a big, big part of this course. That says you can't not communicate to your customers, you also can't not market. Every time you answer the phone at your company, it's marketing. Every time you send an email outbound, it's marketing. Everything on your website, images, words, user experience, all of that is marketing. Even the error messages in your software program are marketing. And in the academic minute, of course, if you have those right. So I kind of want to just recap and sort of look at where we sort of went in our very, very high level overview of marketing strategy, very kind of broad look at it. There's so many things that we could cover. We could do 3 or 4 courses just on this topic, but these are the things that I think are really important for us to all be on the same page about how we're going to analyze and prepare for the digital aspects and getting ready for our final project down the road. The elevator pitch or positioning statement, as I'll call it, really answers the question is why does my business exist? Not just to make money, but because what needs are we serving in the marketplace better than our competitors, and how do we have that sustainable competitive advantage? The Lean Business Canvas is a wonderful exercise so that you can really explain how you're capturing and delivering value, of which includes your positioning statement, but also your markets, your key benefits, etc. Why your customers actually care about this, our empathy map and our discussion on branding will help to answer these. And then ultimately, how do we measure success, which will be our future discussions in the next couple of weeks about marketing analytics and some of the metrics that we're going to measure throughout every single digital marketing function that we do. So I'm going to quickly go back to sort of what we learned today and then talk about our next steps, and then I'll let you guys go a few minutes early. Kind of going back, we talked about the basic definitions of brand, value proposition, customer persona, how to develop a business positioning statement, a lean business model, and a customer empathy map, which will be very important exercises for your final project. You won't necessarily show a customer empathy map, but you'll be describing your customer. You'll probably use a positioning statement or something similar to that, and a discussion of what we learn next week in branding, and also a little bit about lean business model Canvas will to help to describe your business concisely if someone's not familiar with your business model, of course. And then really we ended up with a discussion of how marketing goes beyond just simply a department or just simply the function of promotion. It's a process that pervades every aspect of your business, customer service to your fulfillment operations, everything that is seen from the outside world, to your PR, all of that stuff. So, for next class, please go and fill out your Schoology profile. A few sentences about you, some of your interests, things that you talked about tonight would be perfect, especially what you're here for, a little bit of your business background. Maybe a couple paragraphs would be wonderful. Especially, please put up a profile picture so we can kind of learn learn the faces to the names and whatnot. Think about your final project ideas, but we're going to try and give you another week to finalize them. As a reminder, your final project should be, I highly suggest it's something that you are working on, a company you work for, a company that you were starting or have started, perhaps a friend or family member's business, something that is real, that you can tangibly apply what you're learning in this course to. You don't necessarily have to put it into practice, but treat it as if you will. If you work for a large corporation and you don't work in the digital marketing department, that's fine. I had a woman who worked at CVS as a sales accounting, as a senior account executive and selling advertising. But the things that she suggested were based on a new market entry for for their company and how they would go after small business owners for advertising services and a whole digital marketing campaign. She may present it to them, she may not, but it's a real life project that something could be accomplished for. So think about what that is for you. That way you're taking something that's a real life value from this course. And then I say these are optional, but I suggest you start these because these will be used for your final project in some way, shape, or form. Specifically the positioning statement, some level of demographic and psychographic audience analysis that you should be able to in-depth explain the customer as relevant to your business. It could be through an empathy map, but these characteristics that we're learning about our customers are important. Suggested lean business canvas if it's necessary to really kind of describe how your business operates and where your revenue comes from. If you, in the assignments folder in Schoology, this assignment is up and you can submit it as a Word doc, as an attachment, put it in the comments in there. We will review it for you and give you feedback. I suggest putting in these things early and often so that you can get feedback and have the best final project that provides you the most value as a digital marketing professional when you're done with this course. We're not going to grade them, we will provide feedback, but this truly is for you guys to be the best professionals as digital marketers you can be. So, I'm going to hang around for as long as you guys want to ask questions. Otherwise, thank you for being here on day one, and we're looking forward to seeing you on Thursday. It's a great group. I'm really excited about this. Thank you, guys.